Hollywood, the dream factory, a place where stars are born, fortunes are made, and legends never die. But beneath the glamour of the silver screen lurked a darker reality, one of extortion, violence, and unbreakable ties to organized crime. For decades, the American Mafia didn't just influence Hollywood, they controlled parts of it, from shaking down studio bosses to rubbing shoulders with A-list celebrities. Mobsters turned Tinseltown into their personal playground. Tonight, we uncover Hollywood's hidden mafia ties, real stories of power, betrayal, and murder that rival any screenplay. These are not rumors, not conspiracy theories. These are documented facts, from court records, FBI files, and eyewitness accounts. Prepare yourself. The lights may be bright on the Walk of Fame, but the shadows run deep. The Mafia's grip on Hollywood began not with guns, but with labor unions. In the 1930s, as the film industry boomed, Chicago outfit boss Frank Nitti saw opportunity. He sent two men west, Willie Bioff, a corrupt union organizer with a criminal record, and Johnny Roselli, a suave enforcer known across the underworld as Handsome Johnny. Their target was the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees, IATSE, the union that controlled everything from stagehands to projectionists. Without them, no movie could be made or shown. Bioff and Roselli, backed by Chicago muscle, took control of IATSE. They threatened strikes that could shut down entire studios. Studio heads like Louis B. Mayer of MGM and Harry Cohn of Columbia Pictures paid millions to avoid chaos. From 1935 to 1941, the mob extorted over $1 million from the major studios. That's equivalent to tens of millions in today's money. One infamous payoff alone, $100,000, to avoid a nationwide theater strike. The cash flowed straight back to Chicago. The studio bosses believed they were buying peace. They were buying submission. But in 1943, everything changed. Willie Bioff turned informant. He testified against Nitti and the others, leading to multiple convictions. Frank Nitti took his own life before he could face trial. Direct mob control of the unions ended. But the connections, the relationships, the fear, they lingered. And the mob had already set their sights on something far bigger. A desert gambling paradise. That would become Hollywood's sinful escape. Benjamin Siegel, known to friends as Ben and to everyone else as Bugsy, a name he hated, handsome, charismatic, ruthless, a childhood friend of Meyer Lansky. Siegel was sent west by the National Crime Syndicate to expand rackets in California. In Los Angeles, Siegel moved easily among the stars. He taught actor George Raft his famous coin flip trick. He dated actresses, borrowed large sums from celebrities, money he rarely repaid. But Siegel's true vision lay in the Nevada desert. In 1946, he took over construction of the Flamingo Hotel, a luxury casino resort on what was then a lonely stretch of highway outside Las Vegas. Funded with millions from Meyer Lansky and Eastern mob families, the Flamingo was meant to be a jewel. It opened lavishly on December 26, 1946. But it was over budget and bleeding money. The syndicate began to suspect Siegel was skimming construction funds. On June 20, 1947, in a Beverly Hills mansion, Benjamin Siegel was assassinated. He was sitting on a sofa, reading the Los Angeles Times, when 9 shots were fired through the window. The syndicate began to suspect Siegel was skimming construction funds. On June 20, 1947, in a Beverly Hills mansion, Benjamin Siegel was assassinated. He was sitting on a sofa, reading the Los Angeles Times, when 9 shots were fired through the window. After Siegel's murder, his former lieutenant Mickey Cohen rose to control Los Angeles rackets. A former boxer turned flamboyant gangster, Cohen ran gambling, extortion, and protection schemes. He was loud, brash, and loved the spotlight. Cohen's top enforcer was Johnny Stompanato, a violent, jealous man who began dating screen siren Lana Turner. Their relationship was explosive. Stompanato was abusive. On April 4, 1958, in Turner's Beverly Hills home, her 14-year-old daughter, Cheryl Crane, stabbed Stompanato to death during an argument. The killing was ruled justifiable homicide. Meanwhile, Johnny Roselli, the same handsome Johnny from the Union days, remained the Chicago outfits man in Hollywood. He charmed studio executives, fleeced producers at high-stakes card games, and quietly influenced casting decisions. Roselli and Cohen represented rival factions, but both thrived on Hollywood's vices. Many Hollywood stars had direct, documented ties to the mob. George Raft grew up with Bugsy Siegel in New York's Hell's Kitchen. His on-screen gangster portrayals were drawn from real life. Frank Sinatra repeatedly denied mob connections. But FBI surveillance files tell a different story. Sinatra was close friends with Lucky Luciano, Sam Giancana, and Siegel himself. He performed regularly in mob-controlled casinos and, according to multiple sources, occasionally carried cash for the Mafia. Actress Jean Harlow dated East Coast mobster Longy Zwillman in the 1930s. Persistent rumors linked Marilyn Monroe to Sam Giancana in the early 1960s. The mob offered protection to vulnerable stars, and in return, expected favors. Perhaps the most powerful mob link to Hollywood was never a gangster at all. Sidney Korshak, a brilliant labor lawyer known as the mob's fixer. Never convicted of a crime, Korshak could resolve a studio strike with a single phone call. He advised moguls like Lew Wasserman, influenced hotel ownership in Vegas, and bridged the underworld with legitimate power. The FBI described him as the most vital connection between organized crime and big business in America. Korshak's influence lasted decades, quietly shaping Hollywood from the shadows. By the 1980s, corporate takeovers and federal RICO prosecutions ended direct mob control. Las Vegas went legitimate. The old scandals faded from headlines, but the legacy remains. The Flamingo Hotel still stands on the Strip. Old stories still whisper through the industry. Hollywood's hidden mafia ties serve as a reminder. Behind every dream, there can be a nightmare. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into true crime history, subscribe for more untold stories from the shadows.